Thursday, crafty friends. Welcome back. My name is Caroline, and this is my channel. At the moment, daily crafty chat, just a bit of a pop in and say hello and wish you well and share what I've been working on. What I've been working on for the last few days is moving my small business. I make project bags for crafters. I've been moving my business upstairs to an old bedroom of my son's, who has moved into his sister's old, slightly larger room. So I'm very, very lucky to have this space. This house has, I was explaining a few videos ago, that we have no basement and no attic space and very little closet space. There is no closet in this room that I'm moving into, so I have to be really aware of what I'm bringing in, where my storage is going to be, and also I'm trying to not spend any money to do this move, because I have a lot of stuff. I don't really need more stuff. I just need to try and find a home for the things that I have in the storage facilities that I have. That's why this IKEA little cubby unit is still behind me. This was my son's, and actually is one of the last things that I still have to clear out. It is still full of small toys of his, old little dinky cars and things like that. So but I want to keep this in the room because the pull-out bins will work really well for all of my scraps. My scrap fabrics, I can have a new home for them. So I think that will stay there. And yes, have you noticed yet? I'm on the other side of the room. What? I'm on the other side of the room. This is the opposite side of the room to where I've been recording the last couple of days. So you know what that means, right? It means I made it all the way to the other side of the room. So I will share a little bit. I'll take a few video clips of what I've done so far. I still have a long way to go, but I had to get my sewing space set up so that I could get back to work. So that had to happen yesterday. Well, I really wanted it to happen yesterday, so I worked really hard and I made it happen. And I'm really, really proud of myself. So I'll share what I've done in just a second. Because before I do that, I need to give you a very quick update on the Stitch North Cross Stitch Retreat. This is a retreat that I am hosting in the spring of 2021 up here in Ontario, Canada. It's going to be held in Brampton, which is very close to Toronto. And originally we were scheduled to have the retreat at the end of September of this year, but that has been postponed and we've moved it to the spring. And I've been waiting to announce the new dates until I had signed the new contract. And that was supposed to have been done by now. However, we've come across a slight hiccup in that when John read over the contract a little more I tend to look at the big stuff, the big ticket items, and then John goes back over everything with a fine-tooth comb just to double check that we're signing what we think we're signing. And he found that they had changed the cancellation clause. And our old contract, we were able to cancel 1 month before the event without incurring a whole bunch of penalties and fees and so on and so forth. But they've changed it. On the new contract, they are asking for 5 months before the date of the retreat, the date of the event, for us to be able to cancel it without coming into those fees. So we're hoping that they will work with us to change that date and push it a little bit closer to the date of the retreat, because we're all aware that this, the COVID situation, the global pandemic, this is, everything is just a little bit uncertain. We don't know where we're going to be in the spring. And so to have to, know 5 months ahead of time, we're not quite comfortable with that. So that's why I haven't signed the contract yet. We have written back to the hotel and we are waiting for their response before we move ahead. So I just wanted to be totally upfront with that's why I haven't announced the new date yet. It's not because I'm trying to hide anything or you know, it's not going to happen or whatever. This is all behind the scenes work that we're trying to do to make this thing happen. And I just don't want to announce the date until that contract is signed, because then you will know exactly when it's going to be. So I'm really hoping they get back to us today, but who knows? So I'll let you know tomorrow if I hear anything today. And before I show you my little tour, I did want to share my crafting with you, because I did start this morning, because I thought I couldn't wait to not start it, because it was my high tea start. It was kind of special. So I did start my bee skep. So that's all I got done. But 1 stitch, 10 stitches, 20 stitches is better than no stitches. So this is my Sweetheart Tree Teeny Bee Skep. That's what it will look like when it's done. It is so sweet. And again, there is very little actual cross stitch in this pattern. It is, well, it's a real mix of cross stitch, back stitch, beads. There's a few specialty stitches. What's in here? Just looking at this. And I'm not usually a huge fan of specialty stitches, but when they're in a small design and you only have to do a little bit of it, I actually really quite enjoy that. There is an oblique herringbone stitch, and there's some tiny lattice work and some rose stitches with beads. There's also the bumblebee, the little bumblebee is 1/1. So you stitch that little bumblebee. So the bee skep is 2/2, and then the bumblebee is 1/1. It's going to be so sweet. And I had to laugh. I had both Susan and Michelle leave me comments yesterday saying, I didn't think you had anything small in your stash. You didn't have any smalls in your stash. Yeah, it's true. I generally tend to go for the big projects. So speaking of Susan, Susan was wondering, I had mentioned that I had done a Pat Rogers alphabet sampler. That's it right there. So I have rehung it back where it hung for so many years, above Nicholas's, it was above his bed, and in his, when this was his bedroom. And so I've just, because the nail was still there, I just hung it back up. I don't know if that's gonna be where it stays, but so Susan, I'll try to bring you in closer when I spin the camera around the room. But is that the same one that you stitched? I love it. I love it. That was my very first, I finished it in 1996. And it was the first time that I had stitched on a linen, yeah, it was the first time I'd stitched period on a linen. So, 1996. That was the year I got married too. So, had more time back then. So yes, my little bee skep, I did start it and I'm really enjoying it. Somebody else asked me where they could find kits like this. Sweetheart Tree. Sweetheart Tree is a pretty big name. You could just do a Google search, any online LNS shop or even your local LNS shop. These are not difficult to find. Now this one is a little bit on the old side. What's the copyright date on this? 2014. So you might still be able to find this one. It's not that old. And they usually come in a see-through plastic clamshell as a kit. And I showed this in yesterday's video. It comes with all the floss and the needles and the beads and everything that you need to complete it. And they're really, one thing about the Sweetheart Tree that I will say, even though there's a few specialty stitches, the instructions are excellent. Excellent. So if you've never even done a specialty stitch and you'd love to try one of these little kits, that it's just like, think about it as just a little way to try something new. It's not a huge piece. It's got a ton of you know, new and various techniques in it that you've never done. So if you've never tried anything, these little ones are actually a great way to start. And the Sweetheart Tree instructions, I don't really want to flash it on the screen. Well, this is okay because this isn't the pattern. This is the instructions that she gives for row 7 and row 8, which is the oblique herringbone and the tiny lattice work. So you can see there's a really good diagram and there's great instructions. So, sorry, I know that's kind of, there, that's better. So you can see they're, you know, I think they're worth the price of admission, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Very, 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 very well put together kit. The linen that comes with the kit is that stiff lamb's wool. So if you're not a fan of that, you may plan on switching out the linen in the kit. They're such small pieces though, and it doesn't usually ever bother me that much that I'm just gonna use what came in the kit. It's a beautiful color. Okay, the other thing I worked on, and this was over the last couple of days, I just didn't share my progress with you on it yesterday, is my sock, my Christmas sock, because I'm getting close to the toe. I know, right? It's quite shocking actually. I really think it's because it's striped, and I'm just so keen on seeing the next stripe develop. So look at that. I know. I think I was back in the cream stripe the last time I shared it with you, and I've done a whole repeat. I'm back to the cream. Can you hear Luna snoring? She has now found her spot in this room underneath my tables. I'm gonna have to make her some kind of bed or something in here. Anyways, this is a yarn by the Cozy Knitter. The pattern is the Super Simple Cuff Down Sock pattern by my friend Louise Patterson. You can find it on Ravelry. And, oh yes, somebody mentioned the other day they could see the sparkle in it. You can see that. See that little bit of sparkle in there? That's called stellina. So this sock has a little bit of gold stellina in it, and a while back now somebody had asked me a question about gold stellina, the content of that in the sock, and whether I thought that that would be uncomfortable on the foot. And I can tell you the thing about stellina is you can't feel it. You can't feel it at all. I mean, it doesn't, to me, that's my opinion. Other people might feel differently, but I can't feel it at all. Like it's not something that you would notice on your foot when you were walking around. It doesn't feel stiff or, you know, hard or anything like that. Isn't it pretty? It's so pretty. I love it. So that's coming along nicely. All right, and that's it. That's all I was doing because I do have some sewing that I need to get to today. So I won't be working anymore in my room today. I think I've done enough for the next few days. I have to finish my sewing, and then I'd like to get back to some more organization this weekend once John can hopefully get my bookshelves up here. Fingers crossed, because I really, really, really don't want to have to buy anything else. But I have to have a storage unit in here of some sort, and all of my stuff is downstairs. Like, I have so much more stuff to bring up here. I need that bookshelf up here. So everybody cross your fingers that John can somehow manage to figure out how to get that. He might have to take it apart, and I'm not, I wish we didn't have to, because I think with those bookshelves, the more you fiddle with, you know, taking them apart, putting them back together, the more it affects their integral structure, you know, words, integrity, their structural integrity. There, I did it. That's what wanted to come out. Okay, so that's it. I had said this was going to be short today, didn't I? It's never short. It's never short because I have so many things I always want to tell you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I always just, I can't only talk for 5 minutes. That would be surprising to both you and me. Okay, so I'm going to just put in a little video clip of my room, and then after that'll be the end of my regular video today, and I'll pop in your stitching at the end of the video that you've been sending and sharing with me. which has been so fun. I love that you send me your progress photos. Most of the time when I'm about a week behind, I think about a week behind in putting out what you've sent me. So it's quite likely that by the time, especially those of you who are close to a finish, by the time it appears in the video, you might even be actually done your project. And then I hope that you'll send me another update so that I can share that too. So I'm going to put those in at the end, and then I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. And I'm not sure how much time I'll have tonight, but I'm gonna try because I have a lot of stitching that I'd like to do. And so, okay, let me show you the room. I'll see you in a minute. So, ta-da! There's my space. Look at that. I have my sewing table and my cutting table set up, and there's my window. Look at that. There's my window. That's all opened up. There is my stitching on the wall. I will share more of that in more detail with you. How about we do that tomorrow? Because I probably won't have a lot of other crafting to share. So I'll talk more about those pieces tomorrow. That light belongs to John. It comes from his office. And at the moment, I'd really like to get rid of it and have a prettier light rather than that great big filming light. But there is no other light in this room, and at nighttime it gets dark, obviously. There's all of my stuff that, oh, and a pile of Nicholas. Those are old books that I want to keep, and so those are going to go into at the back of the closet in the other room. Just a few more things to deal with in this stack of stuff. Oh, look. This was on my bookshelf. I had this taped downstairs. Nicholas, a little love note from Nicholas from a few years back. So sweet. Okay, and this is where my Cal-X shelf is eventually, fingers crossed, going to go. And that's the wall behind where I was filming the last couple of days. So, oh, that cookie jar, my aunt made that for me when I was a little girl in her pottery class. So I love that. And there's Miss Luna. And if I, whoops, I'm caught on my thing here. If I move around, that is my batting there that I use in my bags. And it stays in those protective bags until I'm ready to open them up. A roll will last me a little while, and so the extra ones have to stay protected. Just shipping materials, bags, boxes. That's my Christmas pillow that Miss Patty made for me. I have a couple of my friend Audrey's knitting machines. So Virtuti, if you're watching this, Audrey's other knitting machines are back in there. So if you want to think about which one of those you wanted for David's partner, then we can, I'll make sure that that gets to you. A few other things, just storage, extra fabric in there, wrapped up to keep it protected. And yeah, so some more wall space. And here, Susan, I'll give you a little close-up of my sampler there. What do you think? Is that the same one? Let me know. And my window, my big beautiful maple tree outside, which is in the winter time. There's actually a construction site going on right now right across the road that you can't see, but there's a 4-story condo building going in across the road, and so I suspect you'll see more of that in the winter time. And I've got a nice wide windowsill, window ledge, where I can put my coffee and maybe a few books, things like that. So I foresee many years of happy work in my space. I hope you enjoyed that. And thank you for all of your wonderful, kind comments. And if you're in the process of doing the same thing, and this has kind of, you know, helped motivate you as well, I'm glad. I'm glad. And look, I've got my bobbin holder that my dad made me is gonna go right there. And then I've got more wall space right there for some more stitching. All right, so that is it for me today. I will pop in your whips now at the end, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody. Happy stitching.